What is up? It's the Heavyist podcast, weekly worship at the altar of radness. We're back. We're back in the swing of things, Gary.
I wouldn't go that far.
Nah.
I'm here in body. I'm still not quite here. Still not quite here in mind, but I'm trying.
Tumbling into the new year.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Falling into the new year ever so elegantly. How you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Other than the fact that I'm incredibly conscious of this. This t-shirt's so bright. I like it.
It's very orange.
I think it's making me orange, and it's like I think it's just making everything orange.
No, man, I like it. It's nice. It's a nice shirt.
Thank you, bro. Big up, Mastiff, by the way.
Shout out the boys.
Shout them
Hold tight.
right out, mate. How the fuck are you?
Yeah, man, I'm pretty good. Getting used to being back at work and back in the real world. It's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah, just back to the old regular existence.
Yeah, the old
No
grind.
more.
You know how it is.
No more pigs in blankets.
Nah, they're a thing of the past, mate. They're a thing of the past. I tried on Monday, I tried to go 24 hours without eating. I thought it'd be a good way of resetting after just eating constantly for the best part of 3 weeks. I managed to make it till dinner time. Then I was just like, no, I can't do it. I'm too hungry. I'm too hungry. I've got to eat something.
You were just going to have a day off of food.
Yeah, I thought I'd just a day fast, just to reset myself, shrink my stomach back down a little bit, just get back to normal.
Take a whole day off. That's mental.
It's not that mental. It's quite normal, actually. I think intermittent fasting. I think it's quite a tried and tested technique to live your life.
But they don't do the whole day, do they? They just don't they just say, "Oh, well, I don't eat between a certain period on the day," or I got it wrong?
No, there's different schools of thought.
Okay. I'll bow to your knowledge on the subject.
Yeah,
of
I think you're gonna have
fasting.
to, mate. Sorry,
mate. Nosferatu was quite good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite a good film.
I had such a good time watching it, mate. It was just like watching a massive long black metal video or something like that, really, wasn't it? It was just exactly as sort of gothy and atmospheric as you're looking for, really. Like, quite often horror movies, it's not so as weird and as brilliant as they can be. They're not as transportative as many things. There's not you're not just completely taken out of something.
Yeah,
there's not just even down to the setting and the backgrounds and stuff, where it was all set in. I mean, obviously it wasn't CG or anything, was it? But it's it's just
no, not even the rats. Apparently, every rat was real. My friend, one of my mates at work, is a big old Eggers fan, and he was saying in an interview with bloody hell, what's his name? Defoe, Willem Defoe, said every single one of even the rats were real. They weren't even CG.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Hopefully the pigeons weren't real.
Yeah, you can let them have one for the sake of it.
You let them have one. Square. Get as many as you want. Yeah, yeah. I just thought I'm not a big horror guy. I wouldn't particularly call it. I guess it was a horror movie, but I don't know. I just thought it was sort of weird psychological period drama thing. It was crazy. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I'm glad I saw it in the cinema because it was bloody gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm glad I experienced it in full, and that because I know that if now watching it, I wouldn't the way that sort of Orlok's voice. It was just such a ridiculous presence, wasn't it? It was it was so cool. That's not going to hit at home unless you have the sickest setup. Unless you've dropped proper dollars on a proper sound system, you're not going to get that bloody hell the first time he says something.
When he rolls his R's, it's not gonna have anywhere near as much impact, is it?
No, it's not going to be tickling you like it. No, it was great. Absolutely loved it, mate.
Good film, man. Good film. We don't do movies. We're not a movie podcast. You may be able to tell by my terrible lexicon of descriptors for talking about films.
Yeah, we're not Matt Honeycutt.
Yeah, amazing. I was watching that while I was waiting for you to log on, and
sick.
It was very entertaining.
So stoked. Like, he's got such a fantastic voice. I'm really, really stoked to just watch more.
He should just do like voiceover work. That should just be his job.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd watch a documentary where he was the voiceover all day long.
100%. Yeah, give him a shot at Blue Planet, mate.
Yeah. I mean, Attenborough's getting on a years these days. They're going to need someone soon. Give him a honeycut tinkle. He'll do it.
Give him a go, mate.
Mate, I would actually love to watch a nature documentary with Matt Honeycutt in the voice. That would be so good. Oh, dear me. Mate, we're here to convene to talk about riffs as normal. There's an album coming out this week that I wanted to have a little chat with you about, and I'm hoping you've I know it was mainly my thing. I know they're not really a band you're as massively into as I am, but I'm hoping you've had a couple of listens. I put together a couple of quizzical musings. The band Stick to Your Guns. They're a 5-piece hardcore band from Orange County in California. That just makes me think of your tops from Orange County.
Yes, from it's the UK's version of Orange County, Hull.
Yeah, so Stick to Your Guns' new record. It's called Keep Planting Flowers. It's released on the 10th of January through Sharp Tone. This will be Stick to Your Guns' 8th studio album, which is kind of crazy, really. Like, I know for me, like, this is what I was talking to you about before we recorded, and they're a band who I used to absolutely bloody adore. Like, I would say that Diamond by Stick to Your Guns is a 10 out of 10. One of my favourite records ever. I absolutely fucking love that album. I think it's genius. And I've discovered the band when melodic hardcore was the thing. Like something we talked about when we talked about Counterparts last year, right? There was that period of time when everyone was just obsessed with melodic hardcore. It was all the Ghost Inside, the Defeater, Counterparts. All of those bands were just the bands, and Stick to Your Guns definitely kind of came up through those ranks around the same time. But I don't know, they always had a little bit more of an edge of legit cred, like hardcore cred. Would you agree?
Yeah, it was definitely always more on the hardcore end, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like it felt like they would play more sort of obvious hardcore festival. They weren't part of the trend. They just happened to kind of get rolled up in it. I guess that's kind of how I looked at it. I could be completely wrong. I could be completely like projecting on that, but that was kind of how I felt. But like, so yeah, Hope Division, loved that album. Diamond, absolutely adore Diamond. And then after Diamond, you get Disobedient, and I think that album's also incredible. But then after that, like they had 2 albums where I just completely lost it for me. Like I just had this kind of vibe where they got to the point where they kind of had this sort of formula of the way that they do things, and everything that they were putting out to me just felt a bit rinse repeat. It kind of felt to me like they'd lost a bit of the passion that went behind what they were doing.
Musically, what was there a change? Like, is it been consistent, or is it
not even necessarily? Like, I feel like they had success with some of their more melodic singles, and maybe melody became a bit more of a bigger component of what they were doing. But there was no massive shift in sound. There was no. It just lost its oomph, is what I was kind of how I was feeling. Like I'd listened to a new album, was it True View in 2017 and Spectre in 2022, and I was just a bit like, yeah, all right, it's good. But I guess part of that's like the 3 albums that came before it are all fucking amazing, and maybe an album could be good, but when it's not amazing, when you're used to amazing, then you kind of look at it a bit lower down. I mean, you consider it maybe. It's not. It's all kind of relative, isn't it? Because you can have a crap band who releases an all right album. You're like, oh my god, that was incredible. But if you've got an amazing band who releases an all right album, then it's about, oh, that was rubbish. Like it's all.
Yeah, you judge them so much more harshly. Yeah,
absolutely. But then I don't know when this new album.
Much more harshly. Yeah,
absolutely. But then I don't know when this new album landed in my inbox. I guess I was bored. It was in December while there was very little going on at work. And I was like, sod it. I'll have a little listen. Let's check it out. And I was absolutely over the moon to hear that this album had the oomph back. It had the energy, it had the passion. I was so excited. Like, obviously, Stick to Your Guns have always been a band who push their message really, really hard. You know, they're about causes. They're about, you know, they like to write songs about what's going on in the world. And obviously, in the last few years, the world's been pretty fucked up, hasn't it? It's been a pretty fucked up place. I laugh because I'm uncomfortable. It's like the world's fallen to pieces. The world's gone to shit. Obviously, there's been like Ukraine and Palestine and all these things going on, and it just feels to me like having that energy when you know the kind of people that Stick to Your Guns are, and you see the horrible shit going on in the world, it can probably give you a new like oomph to get your message across and to really like get behind what you're doing. And then you kind of look at the message of the record. I mean, it's called Keep Planting Flowers. Like this kind of message of like the world's shit. You've got to kind of like spread joy and spread positivity and spread, you know, your own belief. You can't don't let the bastards grind you down, I think, is essentially the message of this album. And I think, you know, we all need an album. We all need that message in our lives at the moment. You know, it's easy to just kind of get bogged down. You put on the news and you're like, fuck me, the world's at it. Let's just fucking pull the plug on it because it's just wasted on us at this point. And it's good to have an album that gives you that kind of that message. And this record, like, it's just got joy to it, but it's also fucking angry as well. Like, it's really got that bit between its teeth. It's really pissed off. It's really confrontational. It's very instantaneous. It's like it's a pretty short album. Like, I didn't add up the track lengths, but it can't be longer than 30 minutes. Like, it's got to be really, really short record.
Yeah, I would say.
Like, it's got a couple of tracks that are like 1 minute and a half. It really comes at you. And I don't know, I think it just feels to me like a real proper return to form for Stick to Your Guns. As a fan of the band who's been a bit apathetic on their last couple of records, I listened to this and I was just like, yes, thank you. This is really what I wanted. And it smacks. Like, you've checked it out a bit, right? How do what's your position on the band coming into this? Like, ever been that bothered about them? Ever checked them out much?
Yeah, like, definitely fucked with Diamond.
Of course.
But yeah, in recent years, definitely one that slipped for me. Stick to Your Guns and Stray from the Path are one of those bands that in my brain I just get completely twisted. And I was like, oh, Stick to Guns. Oh, Negative and Violent. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. No, that's Stray. But
no, I feel like there was a bit of an arms race at the time when they came about, where it was sort of like Ghost Inside versus Stick to Your Guns, and it's like, which one of those bands do you back harder? And I was one of the few Larry people who backed both really hard. But
no, respect.
Don't listen to the latest Ghost Inside record. Whatever you fucking do, that album is absolute toilet.
It's properly toilet, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I guess sort of judging them on that scale now, it makes this album better. You know, you look at at the contemporaries, you look at like the other bands, like Ghost Inside that put something out, and it's just unlistenable. It's really bad. And this was cool. Like, not really a fan of like any of the chorus sort of moments on the record. Like, it's not really something for me. Like, I think it's a little bit cheesy. But when it's hard, it's really hard, man. Like, Permanent Dark, that's absolutely rocks. That just completely rules. Even the title track is really good. I loved it. Like, it's sort of like this slow building, and it's very sort of impassioned and like just a bit of a different vibe. And then it even sort of takes a black metal turn in the music at the end of the track. Very, very, very weird move, but like added something. It really increased it like it added to like the scale of the moment. It was very, very cool. I appreciate like the 55-second barnstormer, like who needs who, like whatever. That absolutely rules.
That track, that song absolutely rips.
That rips, and I'll be honest, I really like the final track. I really like the final track, "Hate for You." To me, it felt like this is what they can do when they're not bothered around building tracks around choruses. Like it was just really hard, and then Connie turns up, smashes the absolute doors off.
Oh my god, she sounds amazing, doesn't she?
She sounds phenomenal.
She sounds terrifying.
Yeah,
like you know, they've had guest spots before, but usually it's like, you know, the hardcore homies doing something pretty similar to what Jessie does. So it's really cool to hear that guest spot with Connie from Sea Space Cowboy, who has a voice that's completely different, and it creates this really interesting different dynamic and this different kind of sonic style that they've never had before, with that really shrill, harsh, like banshee wailing. It works really, really well. And yeah, like you said, like having those two tracks in the end, I think is really refreshing. Bearing in mind, I think the last two records probably ended on like ballady tracks.
Ended on a ballad, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really nice that they just have these like back-to-back like sub-minute rages on the record instead. It's really refreshing, and it kind of makes, at least for me, it made me want to just, you know, cycle the record again, because I was really amped up off the back of those two really leery tracks. I think it worked really well. Like, I know if you're not into Stick to Your Guns, and the choruses, I can imagine, are a bit of a tricky one to take, but I think Jessie sounds the best he's sounded in absolutely ages on the melodic stuff. He's got a really strong ear for melody, but there was a period of time where it kind of felt like, all right, we just kind of go whoa, 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 and that's all right. We don't really need an actual chorus that people are going to remember, as long as we've got enough woes in there.
I'm happy with the woe, dude. I'm an AFI fan. I'll take a woe.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe that's where it comes from. But it did feel to me, because it's always been a thing that they've done. They've always had like these big songs that have like a really punky energy, and then these big like whoa, whoa, whoa moment choruses. But it kind of, in the last couple of albums, it felt like the woes were, this is where we do the woes, right? Because that's the thing that we do. And now it feels like they actually just benefit the song. Yeah, let's just woe it out, man. Let's just woe it out for a few bars, you know, and we'll worry about the rest of it later. And it really feels like on this track, like you listen to a song like Eats Me Up, like that is, there's a song like that on every Stick to Your Guns record. There's Amber on Hope Division. There's Against Them All on Diamond. There's Nobody on Disobedient. Like there's that song appears, and it has these moments, and it just works. They're so good at doing it. They're so good at creating this like kind of obviously single like ready track, but they always have to stick that like big chunky breakdown in there and give you something that gets you going, and they do it really well on that song. The only thing that they don't do on that song that I was expecting was, before the last chorus comes in, they do the first 4 bars without any backing music, and he sings the chorus, and then it builds and it comes back down. They didn't do that on that one, so that was, you know, maybe that makes it completely different. Permanent Dark, man. That song's really sick. Severed Forever, I think, is absolutely banging. Really, really into that one. More Than a Witness, I like the way that it's kind of a game of two halves, that track, where it's like the first is the sort of almost bordering on like Sum 41 level of punk, and then it goes into this big epic outro. I think that works really well.
Yeah, like how can we look away? That lyric definitely sticks in your head. That was very cool, man. Very powerful. I like that.
Absolutely. There's a few of those sorts of moments where it's like, you can't fight for anyone else if you can't fight for yourself. There's just those kind of sticky motifs that he throws in, which is something that Jesse Barnett's always been really good at. But after a while, they all kind of start merging together into one. But I do feel like on this record, they do stand out, and you have those moments. You're like, yeah, man, we got to go do something about this shit. We've got to go take this energy out into the world and make a difference. Like, I really believe it, although I'm not going to do that. But unfortunately, that's my apathy.
But somebody totally should.
Someone totally should do something about it, man.
I'm gonna be damn ticked if somebody doesn't.
I'm gonna give £5 to a GoFundMe. Yeah.
I'll be ticked as hell.
I rate the record. I think it's really, really good return to form for the band. It feels like they've kind of remembered the reason that they do it again. You know, it hasn't just become, oh, well, we need to go out on tour because that's how we pay the bills, so we better write another record. It feels like they've actually remembered, oh no, we actually like to make people aware of what's going on in the world and make big moments that are going to go nuts in festivals, and everyone's going to come flying over the top. I really back it. I think it's a great record. Early in the year, putting something out like this, like, it's going to stick around with me, I reckon. In 2025,
yeah.
It's going to be something I'm definitely going to jam a lot. Yeah,
I'm glad that they could do something that excites you. That's like, not often that like a band like that's very much like a legacy band at this point, right? They've been around for so long. They're ingrained into it. They're like, it's good. I'm stoked.
Awesome, man. Yeah, Keep Planting Flowers by Stick to Your Guns, out Friday. Very, very good record. This time of the year, early in the year, albums get announced. We get excited, but an album got announced today as we record, which it's finally happened. We've been looking forward to finding out when we're going to hear this record for a legit year. I looked it up. The single Scant came out March the 31st, 2024. And Bodybox's album 3, which is a weird name for an album, but fair enough, they're weird guys. Bodybox's album is going to be coming out on March the 21st, so it's a legit year since the first single that this record is finally going to be with us. But I am so happy to hear that we have a date that the Bodybox album is going to be available to listen to.
Yeah, man. March 21st, Maggot Stomp. Cannot wait, dude.
Yeah. The first single, well, not the first single, the second single, the first single since the announcement, Real Cocaine Music is out now. These guys, there's a track on this record called Loyal to the Foil. Absolutely killed me. Absolutely killed me. So funny. Meth Dog as well. There's another one on there. Oh,
Scratch Offs and Hookers. Yeah. Great one.
I just love
Dodgeball.
I just love these guys, man.
There's one called Cletus. That's sick.
Yeah. This band, they just love NASCAR, hard drugs, and heavy breakdowns. And I'm so into it. Like, Real Cocaine Music it's a rager. It's like less than a minute and a half long. It's got basically everything you need it to have. It's got that like dum da dum da dum da, like the slam, the horrible snare. It's got a fucking chunky ass beat down in there. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's just it's everything you want from a Bodybox track, and it's literally like you say, less than 2 minutes, little stomper. I just can't wait for more, man. I cannot wait.
Just need it.
I'm stoked to see the one of the tracks has got Scotty from Street Soldier on it. That is absolutely sick as hell.
I'm so psyched to hear Street Soldier popping up on a Bodybox tune. That's gonna be off the hook, mate. That's gonna be amazing.
It just truly brought me joy, mate. That was just some phenomenal news. We've been waiting on that news for so long.
So chuffed. Bodybox releasing a new album in March, and another thing got announced today, which really surprised me, which is that Church Tongue are going to be releasing a new EP.
Church Tongue are back, mate. It has been a while.
Yeah, it really shocked me because I think the main songwriter brains behind Church Tongue, I think, is Nico from Knocked Loose. Well, he's in Knocked Loose now, right? The guitarist.
Right.
Nico Calderon, I think his surname is. He's the guy. He's the guy who's not Isaac and plays guitar and Not Loose. He's like the brains behind Church Tongue, I believe. And then also Mike Sugars, you'd think he'd be like really tied up just doing Psycho Frame, because they just went off actually blew up as soon as they got announced. You think? Yeah, I was not expecting to hear new Church Tongue, bearing in mind the caliber of bands that these guys have got going on outside of Church Tongue.
Yeah, since we've heard from them, they've like gone off and been in 2 wildly successful bands. So you just didn't have it on your bingo card.
No,
you get new Church Tongue.
Really didn't. I was so surprised. But yeah, they've got a new EP coming out February the 14th through Pure Noise. It's called You'll Know It Was Me, which is hard. It's a hard title for an EP. I like it. And there's a single out. The single's called Bury Me 1,000 Times.
Hard as hell.
Hard.
Stupidly hard.
So hard. And it's another absolute rager of a track. Like, this song is awesome. I've listened to it like 10 times today.
So they're on Pure Noise as well. So they're signed to Pure Noise, which is what Knocked Loose are on, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Very sick.
Surprised Not Loose on a major label at this point, bearing in mind what they're doing. I'm surprised they're not on like Warner Music or something, but signed with Simon Cowell or some shit. But yeah, they are still on Pure Noise as far as I know. Yeah, this new track, it makes me think of Absent Light by Misery Signals, which, if you aren't aware, if you're new to listening to me and Sonny talk about music, is one of my favourite albums. I adore that record. And that can only be a good thing.
Yeah. The Misery Signals leanings, the lovely sort of like melodic breaks, and the intensity there is just fantastic, mate.
Yeah.
Real big stomper. Just did not see this coming, man. Like, this is a joyous day of news, man. This is like, similarly, like when we got the God Complex track recently.
Yeah.
Like, we got the announcement of that. Like, that was another one that we just thought, well, that's done with now. And then, no, here we go. It's Christmas. Everybody was apparently a very good boy last year.
Yeah. You've all been eating your greens and picking your socks up off the bedroom floor or whatever. So, respect. We appreciate it. Yeah, mate, Mike sounds amazing. I think since the last Church Tongue, we've had him in Vatican and Psycho Frame. So he's obviously been honing his craft massively. It shows. It probably shows on this track. It sounds incredible. So yeah, new Church Tongue EP coming out on Valentine's Day. I know I'll be getting Nicola for Valentine's Day. Absolutely nothing, because I do not believe in Valentine's Day as a holiday, and I don't care. It's made up by Clinton's cards to sell chocolate. It's bullshit.
To sell chocolate.
Made up by Clinton's cards to sell chocolate. It's bullshit.
To sell chocolate and love.
I will not be tricked into buying flowers.
Do you think Church Tongue's definitely a wedding singer reference, isn't it?
We talked about this before, I think.
I mean, we covered Hell is Empty in 2018, so
it was a while back. Yeah, but yeah, you mentioned it at the time, and I was like,
it must be right.
And I was still like, because it's been a long time since I've seen Wedding Singer.
There's a moment in the movie where she's like, "Oh, you can't use tongue," and then in church, and it's like, little tongue, church tongue, like when she's talking about like the kiss when they get married. It must be.
Yeah, now you say that does ring a bell. That film's probably on Comedy Central once every week anyway, so I should probably just look out for it and watch it so you can confirm that.
Goated movie, dude.
Yeah, man. Big up. Adam Sandler, he's a good comedian, apparently. I don't know if you've heard of him. Apparently he's quite good.
The guy from Uncut Gems.
Yeah,
he does comedy. Does he do comedy?
The guy from that basketball movie. Yeah, he's supposed to be a really good comedian.
Are you telling me Hubie Halloween does comedy?
Yeah, he's got this really sick film. It's called Pixels. You should check it out, man.
I just wanted to shout out a cool little, I think they're calling it an album, EP. It's a 3-track. It's really bloody cool, but it is post-metal. It is post-metal, so it will hit. So it will hit the plus 30 minutes mark. The band are called Obscure Sphinx. Now, I'll be completely honest, that's an awful name. It's
I'll be completely honest, I thought you were going to say Obscure Sphincter.
Obscure Sphincter is a better grind project than this band's name.
Obscure Sphinx.
Obscure Sphinx. It's a post metal. I guess post metal broadly is the way to describe it. They're a band from Poland. They've been around for quite a while. Like, their first release was in like 2011 by the looks of it. So they've been knocking about for yonks. And yeah, so the band name's not great. It sounds like one of the names that you're given. If you don't put in an Xbox Live name, it just generates a random name for you, and it'll be like, Obscure Sphinx. It'll be like Cardboard Fish.
Sounds like one of the bad guys you've got to fight in Metal Gear Solid.
But this 3-track absolutely rips. It's called Emovir, Emovere. At first, I thought it said emovore, like it's like some sort of beast
Like
that
eating
purely,
emos, yeah.
that purely purely sustains a diet of emo.
A diet of emo kids.
On top of the band name being horrendous, the artwork looks like they've copied the homework on Oh Brothers Endless Light, where it's like a pyramid with like some spinny splashy nonsense in front of it. It like it looks like they dragged Endless Light's artwork into like an AI image generator and went, copy this,
make
it a bit more different.
You're selling this band to me really well right now. You need to switch it. You need to give me that butt.
Yes, but on top of all these things, that, as you know, I'm quite a wanker, and so these things would often be sticking points that will
stop you listening to a band. You do like to listen with your eyes sometimes.
will prohibit me from enjoying something. Not in this case. They play a really, really cool post metal. There is a lady vocalist who is on one, mate. She is smashing it. She's smashing really brilliant, scathing, awesome, shrill moments, and then she'll move into like melodic, clean sections where she properly sounds like Sinead O'Connor.
Shit, that sounds cool.
Rules, dude. Really cool, really big, atmospheric. Like, it's just really, really cool. It's a very accomplished, well-rounded post-metal offering that really utilizes the scale of the genre to really great effect. It's got sort of a warm, stonery doom leaning to it as well, which makes for these like really sort of makes for a nice sort of effect in those sort of big epic sections. It's like sludgy melodic post-metal that is absolutely sick. I really, 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 really dig it. So I think you should check it out. And I think,
I will.
Honestly, the Sinead O'Connor thing, it clicked on the first track, and I was like, "Hang on, did it?" And then it comes again. She well does, mate.
That has
sick.
Piqued my interest immensely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will definitely be checking this out.
Yeah, they're from Poland, and despite their name and artwork, they absolutely rip.
Obscure Sphinx. I'll be definitely giving that a spin. Awesome.
And I'm also, I've been sort of dredging Bandcamp. I've listened to an absolute butt ton of complete nonsense in the last couple of days. I tell you what, ain't much gold in them hills right now, dude. I've listened to 500 terrible bands in the last few days, trying to like drum up some cool little things for us to talk about, like down the line. And annoyingly, that was one of the first things I listened to. So it was all downhill from there.
Oh no. That sucks. It would have, at least if it had been like somewhere in the middle, you might have given you a bit of extra energy. You're telling me Piss Shitter wasn't any good?
No, it was not as good as you would think.
Oh, how disappointing.
Piss Shitter.
That sucks.
The other thing that I want to shout out is this really cool noise rock album that I got. I listened to it because I saw Tarek from Intercourse had shared it, and I just sort of like saved it and then went about my business and came back to it later in the day, and it was just like open on my Spotify, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll have a click on this. The band are called Prostitute, which is, maybe a phenomenal name, great name, right? let's be completely honest. They're from America and they play noise rock, but there's this real addition. A lot of their stuff is about Lebanon. So they have this sort of like Arabic infusion inside of the music. And there's all this like additional Arabic instrumentation that's going on. A lot of these sort of like high flutes that really create this brilliant, weird, cerebral intensity throughout the whole throughout the thing. And there's a lot of different sort of styles inside of the album as well. Like it really is a brilliant little piece of work. So it was out last year. The record's called Attempted Martyr. It came out in October. but yeah, literally just found this the other day, and I have listened to it a bunch since.
That sounds cool.
Really, really rules. I think the sort of like the Arabic inclusion on the music is a genius touch, and it just creates this brilliant sonic landscape that is just enchanting, bewildering, intense. Because it's still got all the darkness and the repetition and the sort of honesty of noise rock, and just adding that into the mix just made for such a sick experience. Like I really think people are going to enjoy this. So just wanted to, even though it came out last year, just wanted to shout it out because I'd only really heard of it the other day. So maybe everybody knows about it. And I'm just
maybe we've just been sleeping on it hard, but I've not heard of it. So that, at least you got one person, you got me. So that's cool.
Proper good little listen. Can't recommend it enough.
Oh, check it out, man. Yeah, lots of good stuff to check out this early in the year. It's exciting. It's gonna be a good year.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of things coming out this year. Like, I'm genuinely excited about this Killswitch Engage record, dude. I'm in, dude. I am so in.
You should be.
I can't wait to hear it.
Awesome. Right. Well, we'll catch you on the flip side. I think next episode you're going to be doing another one of your deep dive interviews, right?
Oh, don't put it up that high. It's not so deep. Quite shallow.
Come on, Parkinson, get involved.
You'll barely need your armbands. No, I'm doing an interview this weekend on Saturday. Hopefully that'll be up probably either Saturday or Sunday. Talking to Brian from Zompantley. Brian Ortiz,
very cool.
A record that really, really I loved last year, and so that'll be fun. And then next week we're slowly gonna be getting back into the flow of regular worshipping.
Absolutely. So we'll see you soon. Take care, homies.
Peace. Love you.
I love you too.